morning, folks. This is Patrick, Comics and Collectibles, and this is the next episode of this CARNAGEIZED skull project. And excuse me if I sound a little bit hoarse. This is my morning voice, so I'm still waking myself up. I'm out here in my garage early this morning trying to beat this summertime heat. I got to get this done before the sun starts beating down on my garage. And so let's talk about what we have here. I've added some more air dry clay to the base portion here. And while I'm talking about the base, let's flip this over because I know I'm going to forget about this later. Right here, I have cut a little access panel into the bottom. This is where I plan to put my light. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this exactly. Hold on, let me say that again. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this, but I have a rough idea in mind, so we'll see how that turns out. All right, I think I may have had this epoxy on in the last video. Yeah, I did have it on here, so I already talked about the epoxy. Now what I have done is I added some air dry clay to some of the rough areas in the skull. Now, I don't expect this to be perfectly smooth and round or nothing like that. It's going to be some bumps and dips and grooves and stuff. And that's part of what I want to accomplish with this. I don't expect that. That's going to be part of my project, as a matter of fact. I want it to be uneven. I don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical and all of that other stuff, all right? So I'm going to leave some of these in here on purpose. But a lot of them, I filled them in with the white stuff here is air dry clay. I filled those in, some of the smaller ones and some of the ones I did not want. And then for the last day or so, I've been sanding it. I forget the grade of sandpaper I started with, but I got down to 100 right there, trying to get it as smooth as possible because I want this thing to look like shiny and glossy and smooth, you know, relatively smooth, I should say. So I just finished sanding, wiped it down a couple of times to get all that fine dust and powder off. So what I'm about to do now is use this semi-gloss here. This is paint and primer. So I'm going to prime the whole thing, let that dry, put some gloss on it. And this portion is going to be red. Of course, the skull is going to be off-white, brownish yellow. So I guess what I'll do is mask off this portion here, paint this part, let's just call it off-white, paint this off-white, then mask this and paint that red. All right, that sounds like a plan. So that's the plan, folks. Let's see if I can stick to the plan. But that's where we are right now. And also, I have the base, but it's inside my house right now. I'll show you that at the end of this video. The base did not turn out exactly as I planned it, but I'll just keep trying. Maybe I can do better next time. Let's get one more look at this. And I'll have to repaint the inside of the mouth, of course, because it's really dusty in there. All right, folks, let me go ahead and get started on this. Put some primer on it, let it dry for a few hours. Then I can go ahead and start painting this today. All right, and you know I'm looking for that thumbnail shot, but that about wraps it up. Oh, and of course the base portion is coming up after this. And then I guess that will wrap it up. Let's see, get you right there. I think that would, I think that's it. I think that's the shot right there. Yeah. I like the look of this thing. It's kind of weird, but I like the look. All right, folks, I'll be right back with the base. Okay, everybody, I am back, and here is the base. We'll get to that in a moment, but this is the tongue. I think I might have to redo this tongue. It looks kind of fat, kind of thick right in here. I'll see. I have to add a tip to it because the tip of it was looking kind of too rounded. I want it to be a little more pointed, so I'm going to add an extension. And if it doesn't look right, I'll just have to redo the entire tongue. All right, here's the base. It didn't quite turn out like I wanted it to. I wanted it to look more like that right there. But I don't know, maybe my technique was wrong. Maybe I applied too much brown or too much black. I don't know. But I'm going to go with this as it is. I've put about 3, 4, maybe 5 coats of paint on it. 2 coats of primer. I mean, not primer, but gloss. So I'm going to leave it as it is and try to do better next time. All right, folks, that's it for this one. Make sure you stay tuned. There may be 1 or 2 more videos coming up in this series, and this will be done. And I will be moving on to the next thing. And hold on, let me give you a brief glimpse of it. And this here is coming up next. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Bye.